Hey Jared, so I wanted to walk you through just kind of the what I've set up for you with your website, just so there's no confusion and so you can see some time-saving things that I've put in place for you. First I wanted to just point you to the Divi library. This is where a lot of the magic can happen for you. So if you click on Divi library, these here are all of the individual library items I've created to kind of shortcut creating new pages and things like that. So for example, on the home page you have, let's just jump over to the home page real quick and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So each of these book sections here, I've set up a library item to act as a template for each individual one. So for example, this is the book introduction section that corresponds to one of these. So if you click on edit, it takes you into this screen here, which is the Divi builder in wireframe mode. You can switch it over to desktop mode to see kind of the template here. And then you would just go ahead and you would actually leave this part alone because you want to leave the library alone. But what you want to do is, if you want to create a new section on your website, you would go to enable the visual builder on your home page. So you click on enable visual builder. Then you scroll down a little bit here. Let's say you wanted to add a new one here near the top. So you would click on this plus icon, and then you would click add from library, and then you would click book introduction section. And then you would click and use this section, and it creates a brand new one here. So now you have two that look somewhat similar right next to each other, and then this is where you would modify and customize. You would do that here as opposed to here. This is your template, this is your instance of the template. So at this point you can change your book cover image, you can change your text, and then if you want to change the background color, all you have to do, I apologize, sometimes Divi will double load here. So you go to here and you say background, and then you just choose a different color. So I've been using just a kind of a common color within the color palette of each of your book covers. So you would just, find a color that would, match something somewhat like what your book cover is, and then you would just do that, and then you would change that right there. And then when you save it, it will now show up as a whole new section. You would also change your read more button to point to the page that you're going to create for it. So first thing I would do is create the book page, and then create this for your home page, and then have that point to your book page. So that's how you use a library item to build a new book introduction section on your home page. So I'm going to exit Visual Builder without saving. Actually, first, before I do that, down here at the bottom is this ellipsis icon. These are like a toolbar down here that you can do different things. So I showed you earlier the wireframe view. You have the desktop view, tablet view, and phone view. So this gives you just kind of an idea of what your page is going to look like on different screen sizes. So we'll go back to desktop here, and then if you're ready to save, you just click on this save button here, and it will save. It will also prompt you, if you forget to hit save, it will prompt you on exit, whether you want to save, if it detects that there are changes that aren't saved yet. Down here you also have a way to, like, if you create something that you want to save as a library item of your own, you can just click here, and then you can give it a layout name, or if you're saving, this is basically you're saving the whole page layout. So you would save, like if you have a whole brand new page that you've created, you would save that layout as layout name, and then give it to a category page layouts, and save to library, and that will save any new page layouts that you create. And you can do the same for individual items like a module. So if I click on that button for the module, it will let me add to the module library, and I can do like buttons and forms and stuff like that. Same idea there with text, with rows, and with whole sections, and with images, and really anything. Any module, row, section, etc. can be turned into a library item. So those are some time-saving things you can do there. If you want, you have a history here where you can like go back to different parts, what your page looked like before and after different changes. So it's just your redo, undo history here. You have a gear icon here that lets you change your title, your excerpt, and your featured image for search engines for each individual page. This trash can icon will just basically delete what you've done, so I would kind of stay away from that. You have a help system here. You can search for different commands and use them, or you can use a layer approach. So if things are nested, like a section has rows, has columns, has a module in it, you can search that way. And you also have access to a help feature, the Divi Builder helper. Watching these videos is very helpful to becoming really good at using Divi to create all kinds of things. You can also learn your keyboard shortcuts to learn how to do these things very quickly on your keyboard. Oh, and one other thing over here on the left-hand side, this ellipsis icon here. This allows you to choose different ways to view all of your modules. So if I turn on these three icons here, this one is the default, but these three icons turned on allow you to switch between how you view these. So with this one, if I hover over something, that's when its outline and toolbar gets revealed. With this one, when I hover over something, it just shows the outline but not the toolbar. And then if I click on it, then I can see the toolbar. And then the third one here is for when things tend to overlap. This helps separate them a little bit more so you can more easily access their controls. So typically I just use this one because it's the default, but these will be helpful. All right, so now I'm going to exit without saving. So discard and exit. Okay, so now we're back to your home page here. All right, so the other thing I wanted to show you is, let me think. Go back to the dashboard here. Divi library. So I've made library items for your contact form, for your newsletter sign up form. So you should be able to just pull those out whenever you want to drop in a contact form on a page, in a post, anything like that. Just go ahead and do that using a library item like I showed earlier, or a newsletter sign up form. If you have a new appearance venue, you would just go and do the same process like we did with the home page, and you would just drop in a new appearance venue. This is again a template that looks like the following. So it just has a placeholder image that you can replace on the actual page that you create, and then your venue name, date, year, and then your link name. So that corresponds to appearances here. So let's say this one's over with, but you have a new one at the bottom you want to add. You would just go in and you would edit the page. Scroll down to the bottom, and you would add a new row, because this is a row module in the Divi library. So you click that, add from library, and I click on appearance venue, use this row, and it drops it in there, and then you can grab whatever image from your existing library, or you can upload new images. So let's just say there's another FanX one, upload that. Now this looks a little big on the page, so if you want to, you can use your sizing control here, and you can change the width, and that will change the aspect ratio along with the width, and then you can do that and save, and then you just update your text here to however you want it to appear. You can change your link by just clicking on that and then clicking on Insert Edit Link, change your link there, target it, to another new window if you want to, and click OK, and you're good to go. So that's what you can do with that. Let's see, what other layout items do we have? Divi library. You have your book page layout. So this is a whole layout for like a whole book page. So let's say you wanted to add a brand new book. So we would go to All Pages, Add New, and you name your book Thunder by GerryIronspear. So this first step establishes, for meta information purposes, for SEO purposes, your title for your page. And then you would go in and use the Divi Builder, and then also use this opportunity to kind of update, give it a featured image like the book cover, write an excerpt for the search engines. Maybe if you want to allow comments, you can turn those on, and any other page attributes you want to do. But for most part, it's just these things up here. And then when you're ready, you would just click on Use Divi Builder. So that turns you over to the Divi Builder. And then it gives you this option. So you can build from scratch, you can choose a pre-made layout, or you can clone an existing page. This works pretty well, but you're bringing in content from another page that you're going to have to swap everything out and make sure that the old page's stuff doesn't show up on the new page. The reason I created the library item for you is so that you can kind of skip having to scrub everything for old page stuff. You can just click on this and it will give you in your it's your saved layouts, your book page layout. So this is a whole separate layout, just genericized. Okay, so this just has like the Latin text in it, and it has that Thunder by GerryIronspear in here. So that's brought in from the title attribute, so you don't have to do anything there. And then you can just change everything that you want to do here. You know, assign links to your buttons by clicking on that gear icon, click link, click on button link URL, and then type in or paste in your URL to your Kindle, your audiobook, your paperback. There's no way to actually make these repeatable here, so you just have to do it 6 times for, you know, 1 for each button, but that's not terrible. So yeah, and then you can just go ahead and save that. You can publish that as your new page. Once you've added a new page, I'm just going to exit out of this. You'll want to make sure to add it to your menu. So you would go to Menus, Pages, View All, find your page in here. Let's say it was this one, and then you click on Add to Menu, and it puts it at the bottom, and you just drag it up to inside of your books there. So that's just a thing to have to remember each time you create a new book. Yep, and then you would click on Save Menu here to save all of that. You'll also want to add it to your footer menu. And so that is actually done when you go into the theme builder here. Let me just leave this because we're not saving those changes. And you go to global footer. And you would also add the book here as a new button. And anything else that needs to be updated here, you can also change here, and also these here. So that's for when you want to change the footer. And if you want to change the header, you would just choose that global header layout, and you can change anything you want in here. So this is all available to be changed. This menu here is brought in from that earlier setting, the global header menu that we were just editing a minute ago. So then you would save all this, etc., and then exit out. I'm going to just discard for here. Let's see, what if there's anything else in the Divi library I created here. Oh yeah, the paperback button, audiobook button, and Kindle button. Those are all ready-made for you, so you don't have to like think about which icon do I put in a new button for that. I've already kind of created them for you, and you can just drop them in. Now, if you want to edit these and change them in the future, you absolutely can. So you would just go in here and go straight to the Divi Builder here. Now this is all white buttons, so you're just going to have to kind of fly blind a little bit here because it's usually on a dark background. But anyway, you can change the design, you can change the button icons, all that kind of stuff. Just remember that each instance of this is going to be different from the ones that are already placed. So if you intend to go through all of your site and do all of the buttons, you'll want to replace those other buttons by hand. The only way to make this global is if you intend for that button to always have the same link across all the pages. So if I made this a global button for all the pages, if I change the link on one page, it's going to change it across all the pages. So you just want to be careful about that. So you wouldn't use it for book buttons because your paperback, audiobook, and Kindle buttons are going to be different links for different books. But if it's, say, your subscribe button, it's always going to be the same, you can make that global. So you can create as many of those as you want as well. So there's no limit to how many things you can have in your Divi library. So you can create as many of these things as you want to with the instructions I gave earlier. If you ever want to export and then import them into another site that you want to make, you can just select all those, import, export, only export selected items, and it will save it out to a JSON file that you can save to your hard drive. And then you go on your new site and you just choose File, and you just open and import that in. I'm not going to do that here, but then you can do that, and that'll preserve like all the layouts of everything. So that's kind of a handy feature there. And then you do have post capability. I didn't really format the blog page, but it's fine like it is. I saw a test post in there and it was fine. Actually, I'll just restore it from trash here. Restore, and we'll just look at it. And so I guess preview. So yeah, this is, if you were to write a blog post, this is what it would look like. Just very basic. You can use Divi to make blog posts look a lot more interesting, but from what I understand, you're fine with this format. But you can always experiment with that using Divi to create your blog post format. So, and then you'd also want to, any blog posts you have, you don't want them assigned to uncategorized, so just create a new one, say books, and assign thing to books, or to whatever the category is that it pertains. So I hope this has been helpful. I think I've shown you pretty much everything there is to see in your setup here. If you do have any questions, just let me know. And you can always refer back to this video. Yeah, hope it works out for you. Thanks.